It's just a big honor to get to coach them in a bowl game, to keep coaching them, and as this senior group leaves us and spend a little more time with them. We had good practice last week, and obviously we got guys on the road recruiting, so we have to balance all that out. This is finals week for us, so academics, which is where we always start, want to make sure we finish up strong with finals. We got a big group of graduates this Saturday, so excited for them. And then we got to have a good week of practice this week as we get ready to head to the Bahamas. So obviously we had conference players of the year. Player of the Year in Spencer Brown. We've had guys make all-conference. We had Darius Williams on an All-American team. So really proud of all those guys, and just getting ready to head to this bowl game. So we'll open it up for questions.
How much physically did you guys need this break before you played?
I would assume that everybody else is kind of like us, that they're in that whole beat to death, beat to shreds kind of mode. I know we needed it. We had a lot of guys that were not injured, but just bumps and bruises and mentally tired, and we'd worked really hard, and so we needed it. And so that list of injured, I was just talking a minute ago about this group. We've got a lot of guys that got a lot of little things, and I know we got a lot better last week, and we'll continue to do that this week. And I think main thing, we just needed a mental break. I know how I felt, so I know how they felt, and good for players and coaches and everybody just to get away from it, that first week and really just do some training. And then last week had a limited number of practices, as you know, and this week will be kind of the same, with finals, and get back in the swing of things. We'll practice tomorrow and get ready to go on this trip, but we needed it.
With the early signing period coming up next week, but you are going to be out of the country, what kind of challenges are you going to be facing with that, and how do y'all expect to meet those challenges?
Yeah, good question. We've got the mid-year signees, and then you got the early signees, and so we'll have a group that signs. I do think that this is, and I think probably most coaches are going through this now, there's a challenge just with separate out the mid-year signees from the high school signees, and these high school guys are, there's just such a connotation with that first Wednesday in February. It's a big deal. You get to sign, a lot of them sign in front of their school. I think there's some trepidation there on signing early, and what does that mean to them? Even though a lot of times you're really not signing the actual scholarship, you're signing, a mock signing. I know that's a big day. And it's almost, I think probably in some of their minds, it's almost like that's being taken away from them. So I'll be interested to see, even guys that we know are coming here, if some of them don't sign. I hope they do, because I think it's a guy that's truly committed should go ahead and do it. But I'll be interested, which really was not the question you asked, because I think we then got in the whole, all right, what happens when we're sitting there in the Bahamas and guys are sending us these scholarship confirmations. And it is different. In the last few years it's changed from the old fax machine that we all used to wait on to it's an email, and now they actually can take a picture of the scholarship, text it to you, and then they follow that up with an email. So we do have phone service there, so that was checked on last week. And so we'll be dealing with that along with practice that morning. We'll practice in the morning, so it's going to be interesting. Yeah, it's a good question. I think that was one of the I think that's a concern for all of us. Bobby Wilder, who's the head coach at ODU, is a good friend of mine, and one of the things he really bragged on was just that whole Bahamas experience. Just how good it was for his team. And I was hearing this even a year ago. So that was one of the things, though I kind of knew, that this was a good experience for his team. He bragged on how they treated him. I had been there even the year before as a, kind of an ambassador for the conference, so felt like I knew what was heading on. The thing I like, it's self-contained. You're kind of on that island, and you're in a separate kind of facility, even away from the the rest of the I guess the maybe other things that could go on. It's kind of a self-contained experience. This is a big deal to the Bahamian people, so I know how they treat you, and the stadium we play in is all great. I do think every coach is always concerned with distractions. That's something I'm worried about when we're playing here in Birmingham, or we're going on the road, so much less going to a kind of a paradise location. So I think we've got it set up where we'll have great practices in the morning, and they're going to be free after lunch, to kind of have some fun and enjoy the experience. And that's kind of where we are right now. We want to get ready for these finals and rest up, yet at the same time get ready for a bowl. And I don't think we're saying anything Ohio's not saying, that we're here to win. That's what we're planning to do is to go to win. But at the same time, we want to enjoy it and make it a great experience for these guys. So we're trying to balance all that out. Hopefully we can do that.
Kind of just talked about it right there, but just the location, being the Bahamas.
Right.
And you said it yourself, these guys are going to be excited about going to whichever game it is, but knowing where it is, knowing kind of what that entails, what is it playing for the players? As far as just their excitement level,
right?
Because they'll be excited for anything, but
correct.
It is the Bahamas.
Yeah, I think that obviously getting bowl eligible was huge. I think that's always a goal. And then you're going to a really good opponent. We got 2 8-4 teams. That's a big deal. But then you are going to a paradise location. Obviously for this country to really kind of this be their bowl game, to me, that makes it that much better. I don't know. I don't know if it could get much better for us. I really don't. For what these players and these coaches have gone through, just to get us to this point, to me, what a reward for these guys. And, right here before Christmas time, we're getting to carry the whole group of them, so really couldn't be much better.
Are you going to allow yourself to kind of step out of coach mode for a little bit there too, or is that going to be tough for you?
I'm going to enjoy it. There's no doubt. I think when my responsibilities for this team and the staff and the families, and we've still got to win a game. I've got recruiting going. I think you see a little different me right now than I am in season, because there is a chance to catch your breath. But we're going to win a game, so I think that will always be on my mind. And obviously kind of being the dad for this whole group, you feel that responsibility. But there's no doubt I'll enjoy it too.
Speaking about the game itself, you'll be facing Nathan Rourke at Ohio University. With your relationships where you coached high school in Prattville, he was the last quarterback in the Bobby Carr era at
Yep.
Edgewood. Were you aware of him, and what have you seen from him, as well as have you spoken to Coach Carr about him and what he meant?
No, I did in recruiting, though. He was a guy we were very interested in. Obviously, we were going through our situation here at the time. But I think there is no doubt this guy is – he will be one of the best guys we've seen all year. Big, strong, can run. He's what makes him go, and you start thinking of a zone option type offense, that guy's got to be he's got to be a physical runner. And, he's at his best a lot of times when the play breaks down, but they're going to run the ball, and then he's got a great arm. Their play action game is really good, and then when they decide they want to throw it, they're really good. So it's going to be tough, and I'm sure for him getting to play, even though he was kind of a transplanted guy, to play somebody from the state where he was kind of from, it's going to be a big deal to him. And, we don't need him to have any more motivation, but he's probably got a little motivation just to get to play us. But he is an excellent player. And of course, Coach Carr, when he played for him, really just sung his praises.
At the beginning of the year, before the season started, everything was being constructed. You said that you guys are just scratching the surface. And, now 8 wins, program record, coach of the year. I know you're always looking ahead. So what's next now?
Yeah, there's no doubt, and I think we're all saying it, we've got to have the stadium. It's just we've got to take the next step as a city. I think we're taking the next step. You can look out this window and see intramural fields and business building. Obviously, this building, we've got to go build another, knock that old building down, put a practice field there. We're talking about cafeteria for all the athletes. Sports medicine is one of the hot topics right now. So, to me, the stadium, continuing to upgrade our facilities, and sports medicine are kind of the 3 things that we want to see, along with just getting better as a team and continuing to recruit better and all the things you do as a normal team. So I'm really excited about this off season, just to be here and get to take full advantage of this, our new training facility and the weight room and how we're eating now and nutrition. And we know there's going to be expectations next year. Besides we have very high expectations, we've created some, which is a good thing. So we're going to have to be ready to meet those new expectations. But I think for us and I was saying this before, but I think for us as a city, we've all got to get behind making this new stadium happen. And I'm just, what do we need to do? So I think that's a challenge for all of us.
There are a lot of different players in that.
Mm-hmm.
What have you heard feedback?
I guess because I'm still recruiting and getting ready for this bowl game, I keep hearing positive things, and I'm kind of at that point now. I think we all want to see it. What is the timetable? When are we doing it? And I have not talked to any of the new city council member. I had a good talk with the mayor the other day. He called and congratulated on a good season, the conference coach of the year, and some of that. So we didn't really get into that, but I've heard other people that they're all talking about it. So I'm ready to hear. What are we doing?
Changing the subject. I think this is the second year in a row. I mean, not second consecutive year, but second year in a row for the program that you guys have had All-Americans. What is the secret for you to developing, talent that other people might not have seen and turning into an All-American level?
I start a lot with training. I think that's the secret sauce, that I'd rather just, I tell somebody, if you go get how we work every day and how hard we train and now we add in our nutrition and our, I'm an old strength and speed guy, so I think how you train these guys and you take a guy to, to make him be the very best he can be. I think one of the things that I hear from a lot of the NFL guys that they like about our program is, they know how to be on time. They know how to be accountable. That's a big deal, just going to work every day and doing your job. But I think how our guys train sets them up for how well they perform. And that's a daily talk. They were asking me the other day about sports medicine. I said, well, every morning at 6:45 I'm meeting with a strength coach and our head trainer about, we were talking about injuries earlier. What are we doing for these guys? But also, our nutritionists in there at lunch every day talking about body weight, body composition, so and we could be here all day talking about this because I enjoy talking about it, but it's making these guys be the best they can be in every facet. We did mental off-season training, but, that making that whole man, I think when they get a chance to hopefully take them to be the best they can be is my goal. And I mean, like Darius, use him for an example of a guy that just comes to work every day with a great attitude. And I think you're seeing the fruits of that. I think somebody at that next level is going to be lucky to get him.
How is this reputation that you've established now starting to help you on the recruiting?
I think people are starting to see that. And, I always balance that, bragging on yourself, and I don't like that. But I think one of those things of hopefully you can see, as we say, the proof's in the pudding of Jordan Howard and J.J. and even Gerald Everett, who, those guys that are doing well at the next level. And when I hear their coaches say, man, we love coaching this guy, and he's a professional, he's a good person, and, hopefully, we didn't do all that. They were raised the right way, but hopefully they can say, coming out of this program now gets you ready to take that next step. And I hope that's the same thing you said about UAB. Academically, we've got these great academics, and you get a chance to go get this great job, and which is what we're really supposed to be here for. So hopefully that's they're starting to find out about these guys, I know the NFL scouts know we're here. So I think that obviously should help us in recruiting.
Kind of a two-part question. What did you see in Spencer Brown and Darius that other people maybe overlooked?
I think first thing, Spencer comes to camp and you see this big, good-looking guy who runs fast, and then you go from there to, wow, he played linebacker. He's tough. His dad played. He's at a good program locally. It was just he checked every box, and I love when I can get a guy who's just a naturally humble guy. That's Darius. Just got a good heart, and those guys usually do well, and I think they do well in our system because I think we're a hard work program. That if you'll come in and work hard and kind of do the things we say, you're going to be successful. And those guys like that, both those guys are really humble, good people. And you want to see those guys do well.
I apologize if you engaged in this just a few questions ago, but just I guess the image of when you guys wanted to come back and play football. I mean, that was a boost to this program. I mean, because these guys were fighting to come back and play football. What has this season done for that image? Not only to show that we want to come back and play football, we can come back and we can play football, and we can do things that maybe people thought were a couple of years ahead.
Right.
Of schedule.
Yeah. So two good stories on that. You know, I think just coming back, you know, we said if we're going to come back, the only way we're going to come back is to do it the right way. And when you lead conference, the conference in attendance. So, you know, was there some question marks out there all around that, you know, we're not going to support football, even though, you know, we had the biggest turnaround in ticket sales in 14 to lead the conference by what, over 5,000? You know, I mean, not only did we come back, we came back the right way. And, of course, there was a lot of things that went in it. You know, how we, you know, Bruno event team came in and we made this better experience and we put a good product out there in our city and our people got behind it. But that was huge to me, you know. And then I was laughing in the Bahamas, you know, because the standing joke 2 years ago was, you know, maybe y'all guys will get back here someday. And someday was pretty quick. So, you know, we were laughing about, you know, hey, maybe y'all can come back here and play. I'm sure they were thinking way down the road. And so to get to come back now, you know, so you lead in attendance, you have this good year, you get in a bowl game, all those things, I think just says we brought it back the right way.
So 11 all-conference guys, second place in the West. What and who were your biggest surprises?
As players?
Players and just the season in general.
Gosh, I mean, you know, I hate to single out guys. I think those guys that came back and just represented us, you know, when we talk about Tevin and Shaq and Darius and that whole group, you know, the DeFores, the Lisas, that group that came back and believed. You've also got this big group of walk-ons, you know, and I just got such a heart for those guys that paid their own way, did not miss a practice. And with the guys, when we got some guys banged up, we were able to give some of those guys scholarships. Some of those guys had big roles in ball games. I mean, guys that literally paid their own way, didn't miss a workout, didn't miss a practice that may not even get recognized, which I'm excited about. We get to carry a lot of those guys to this bowl game. You know, they're just as important as some of these guys that got recognized for all conference. But I think being competitive, you know, being picked 130th in the country, even though that was maybe they didn't have any other way to pick us. But, you know, obviously that was a pretty big motivator for us. We knew that wasn't really who we were going to be. But, you know, if we win 6 games, you know, what a miracle that would be. But to go beyond that, you know, and find a way to win 8 and you know, just hats off to the whole group, you know, for believing and fighting and doing all the things they've done just to be here.
Bowl games, what they mean to a program moving forward. Is there a difference between a bowl appearance and a bowl win as far as what that means going forward to the program, you think?
Yeah, I was getting on Tim Alexander the other day. You know, he came out and said basically if we don't win, you know, no reason to even go, you know. And I said, well, that's pretty strong, Tim. You know, I was laughing about it. But, you know, I mean, you want to win. I mean, you want to go and you want to win. So getting there is a big deal. You know, I think getting bowl eligible, then actually going to a bowl, going to a big-time bowl, playing a really good opponent who's got a really good record. I mean, you know, what did they beat Toledo, who won their conference? I mean, you know, so this is a really good team, a staff that's established. So you put all that together, we're happy to be going. You know, now you've been around me long enough to know I'm never happy just to be there. So, but I'm sure they feel the same way. So we'll just have to see what happens. But I think this is one of those. It is a big deal to be going.
What do you think about Lane Kiffin's success this year? He sent you a nice compliment on Twitter, said you should be coach of the year. I mean, they came out of nowhere.
Sure. Yeah, I mean,
Kinda like
gosh.
you guys, it's like UAB on this side of the
Mhm.
FAU on this side.
Yeah, I mean, and they were very dynamic. I mean, you know, just watching, I got to see them some offensively, how explosive and dynamic. And, you know, I was looking at his coaching staff. He went and put a really good staff together. And, you know, I mean, what a great job, you know, they did. And just, you know, I think anytime you go in and I don't think, you know, it's two different deals. I mean, they were coming into a program that, you know, coach before them had done a solid job and was a solid coach. But, I mean, anytime you go and you win the conference and you win it, you know, I mean, they were getting some big wins and got better as the year went on. You know, I think watching them early versus watching them late, as I got to watch them as we saw mutual opponents, to me that's the mark of good coaching and a good team as you get better each week. So, great job. Compliments to him and his staff.
You already have that game circled. You guys play FAU next year, right?
No, probably, yeah, we'll play reciprocal teams from this year. Yeah, so it'll probably be another year before we'll see them. Yeah. Unless we see them in the championship game, which would be a good thing. whoever they send. So hopefully we're there. But they did a great job.
Is it too early to know if everyone's traveling?
We'll be carrying almost everybody. You know, the only thing we're dealing with really is passports. You know, so other than that, we'll be carrying our whole group. You know, that and a few academic issues. So we'll know that by the end of the week. Look at these grades.
Is that a thing you have to start preparing for every preseason now?
We did, you know, we did. It was kind of funny when even some of our players were like, okay, we need to go get passports. We're like, yeah. You know, so that was, I think, add that to our list. Okay, we'll tell you it's going to happen. You know, of course, we didn't know where we were going, but, you know, give our guys credit for mobilizing on that, you know, from our administration. And my football ops guy, Tyler's been putting in a lot of work for a while on that. So we didn't know, but we want to be prepared if we got a shot. So that helped.
Anything else? All right.
All right, guys. Thanks for
With,
being here.
With finals